Hello. Welcome
Hello.
to the Stay or Go podcast. My name is Jenna. This sounds so annoying. Okay, and today we have a special guest. I say that for every intro. I'm like, they're all like, wow, you can't think of any other adjective besides special. Special guest, welcome. You are here today, and your name is?
My name is NateNiceWithIt.
NateNiceWithIt. Now, Nate, and I had a debate that it was wit, W-I-T, not with.
Mm-hmm.
So get that right, people, when you're looking up his at later. It
Yes,
is
I try to be
Nice
grammatically
with.
correct with my stage names and marketing and things like that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, just so
I love
there's not
grammar.
confusion later on, and people
Yeah.
are not like, oh, I tried to look it up, with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've actually had, honestly, people put my name on things, whether it's for promotion
Mm-hmm.
or for actually trying to attach my publishing to like a project or a piece.
Yeah, which
and
is
they
important.
always misspell it. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Y'all just don't want me to have any money.
Or
That's
they
what's up.
just don't know how to spell.
That too. That too.
But anyway,
yeah,
welcome. Thanks for coming today.
for sure. Thanks
I
for having me.
appreciate it. I just first want to comment on how well matched his outfit is. So you're gonna pan over to that. He's got the red, the blue, the white, and he has the red mic. It works
I
out.
also have the
And
red,
a red
rockery. Okay?
Amazing.
Put you guys on a little bit of game. This is Indian culture right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What is it called?
It's called a rockery.
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 Rockery or rockery?
I am probably not the one
Okay.
to ask that specific question, but
Yeah.
I know that my girlfriend, who's
Mm-hmm.
British, has a way of pronouncing things that I find out later on is
Yes.
not how they're pronounced.
We'll check it out
Yeah.
later.
No, for sure, yeah.
But very cool. I just wanted to say, because Nate sometimes, my Nate, sorry, this
Yeah.
is going to be hard.
It's all good.
Charlie.
Yeah,
God.
there we go.
He doesn't always know how to match his outfits and his shoes.
I don't know. I think the way he dresses sometimes, I kind of aspire to have that
Oh.
confidence.
Oh, wow.
Because there are times where, like, I get caught up in trying to, like, be matchy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was to wear certain things that, like, I guess some might consider to, like, clash as far as, like, the flow of an outfit or something,
Mm-hmm.
I think my brain would just be, like, on me, like, all day or something. But, nah, I've seen some outfits that you've worn, and I'm like, bro, why can't I just, like...
Aw, look
be
at
like,
that.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I threw this on, whatever.
Every time.
Whereas I'm making fun of him and complimenting your outfit.
Yeah.
Every time
So
you
sorry.
comment on somebody's outfit to somebody
Yeah.
and then bring me into it,
Sorry.
they always compliment me.
Well, there you go. There's your reassurance that your outfits are good enough for everybody else besides
There we go.
me. But anyway, this is not about Charlie, Nate. This is about you.
Okay.
So the Stay or Go podcast, I know it's new. We're not totally familiar with it yet, but that's okay because we're all going to be, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
We talk about a time in your life or coming up, right? It could be a future thing where you're deciding if you should stay or go from a situation, a relationship, a place, anything at all. So what first comes to mind for you when you hear stay or go?
Future or past?
Past,
Okay.
let's start with.
Past. Past was so when I turned 18, I realized that where I was at and the people that were around me were going to hinder where I wanted to inevitably be. Right? So I moved out of the house a few months after my 18th birthday.
Where are you living at the time?
Initially I was in Los Angeles County, Pomona, which is
Okay.
East LA County,
Okay.
near Riverside, San Bernardino. So I decided to leave, and I didn't really have anything set up, honestly.
Now, is this friends or like this group of people you're talking about?
What is that? What do you mean?
Like you're saying these people were hindering
Oh,
you.
yeah. It was the environment in general. It was
Okay.
my community. It was my peers at school. It was just the conditions of like living that we were experiencing like when I was younger, going up until honestly like my early 20s was when things started kind of changing for everybody, like my entire family.
Okay.
It's just rough. It's really rough out there, and a lot of markets and fields that I was interested in, like indulging in or like cementing myself in, are really saturated out there. Cost of living is insane.
Yeah, insane
and
is
it's
the
only
right
getting
word.
worse and more expensive. I think that there were just basically like only a few options for me if I would have stayed, and I was scared. I was scared that my climax was gonna be a grave, or some jail bars or something like that, So my first move was to St. Louis.
Okay.
I was in St. Louis for about a year. Mind you, all these places that I moved to, the most support I guess that I had there was like a friend. No job lined up.
Yeah.
No real money saved up to like fall back on or anything like that.
Risky business.
It's very risky. I mean, when you're young, I don't think that you're taking these things into account.
No, our brains aren't fully developed until we're in our mid-20s. Men, it's actually 30.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially men, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I moved but moved into a living situation with a friend of mine.
In St. Louis.
In St.
at
Louis.
This point. Okay.
I was up there for about a year, like just short of a year. I think I was there for like 10 months. St. Louis is very bleak.
I've never been.
It's not.
Is it not worth traveling to?
I mean, I don't want to say
I'm
that.
sure there's
I don't wanna say
things that there are.
'cause this could
I want to
reach-
go to every state, so I'm just kidding.
It's just very. A lot of things haven't reached out there, like gentrification, obviously, but like just the rebuild. It's like it got burnt down years ago, and no one has really like put money into it to salvage what's left and to rebuild or anything like that.
Right.
A lot of gangs, a lot of drugs, a lot of poverty. You're typically either working something in like you're a migrant worker or something like that, or you're working what's the word I'm looking for? Like industrial, like farming and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like when I first moved out there, some of the farm equipment I saw was like the size of a small house or something like that. Just insane, you know. I had never seen Amish before.
Oh, we're familiar with the Amish.
Yeah, which I saw later on in Pennsylvania also too. But it was a huge culture shock.
Yeah.
But I spent about 10 months there, and then moved from St. Louis to West Chicago, which East St. Louis, West Chicago is pretty much the same thing. They
I was
run
gonna
into each
say
other.
they're pretty similar. Yeah.
Was in Chicago for also about a year. Left Chicago, went to South Texas. It's a little city called San Marcos.
Okay.
It's a college town. It's where Texas A&M is.
Okay.
Was cool, but also very limited as far as career options or even like kind of dead end job type stuff. There's just a lot of factories and things like that, and like retail stores or whatever. Was in San Marcos for I'm noticing a trend here for about a year.
A year?
Yeah, maybe a little bit over a year this time.
Gave every place a year.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, basically, I gave it a shot, and then I moved from San Marcos to Austin, Texas, and stayed in Austin for almost 4 years.
I've heard good things about Austin.
Austin is dope.
Yeah.
Austin is like a combination of Athens mixed with
Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not
Yes.
Athens,
Athens,
Greece.
Georgia. Because it's a
Just
college
kidding.
town.
Yeah.
Mixed with, let's say, like a Peachtree or Piedmont kind of area because it's a capital city also. Mixed with, let's say, like a little 5 Points or like East Atlanta Village or like Old Fourth Ward, because
I love Old
super
Fourth Ward.
eclectic, very liberal. The people that you see out there expressing their creativity and like manifesting like imagination and things like that.
And that's okay out there.
I was gonna say,
Most
it's
people
not,
are like, nope, 9 to 5, get in the office.
Not frowned upon. There's no pressure. You don't get that sense of like poser or try hard or
Yeah.
something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Cool.
everybody just is
Who they are.
naturally, themselves and not afraid to express
That's
it.
nice. It would be nice if that was everywhere, right?
I agree.
So what made you then leave Austin?
So Austin was cool, but I got into a relationship, and I honestly thought that if I went back out west, I could at least get us up financially to a point where we could start doing things like being homeowners and, start talking about kids and things like that. So we actually met in San Marcos, moved from there together to Austin, stayed in Austin for 4 years, left Austin, went back out west to basically the same area. I was in West Covina, which is right by Azusa, Pomona, all this stuff. Was there for about three and a half years.
Okay.
Sometimes relationships take there's things that take a relationship on our toll on relationships, and then there's relationships that kind of take a toll on you.
Oh.
So
clip it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
The sound bite right there. Yep.
I wasn't happy, honestly, and it got to a point where, again, I knew if I stayed here too much longer, it was only going to hinder my forward or upward progress. And so I made the decision. That, and my sister found out she was pregnant with her first child. My mom found out that she had, don't quote me on this, I don't remember if it's Hodgkin's or non-Hodgkin's, but she had lymphoma. Whichever the least, I guess, fatal is.
It's hard because I have a friend that had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay.
And was also told that she would be fine.
Okay.
She passed away like a year or two later.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
I don't know which one, but yeah, so one of those.
So yeah, she found out that
Horrible
she had,
news to
no,
get.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, super scary.
Uh-huh.
And I guess it happened like kind of sort of about the right time, because I was making this transition in my life. They needed, someone around the house to help them. And it had honestly been like the better part of almost 10 years since I had seen them. And
Where did they live?
they were here in Georgia.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
born in LA, we moved out here around the beginning of high school. I stayed here until the end of high school, just after I started doing my little, I don't want to say world travels, but country travels. And I don't know. I remember my family being like a lot more tight knit when we were younger, especially when we had like my mom's dad around, who was like kind of the cement, within the family.
The patriarch of the family.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, we just, in almost 10 years, I think I saw my sister and my mom one time in person.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They came out to Austin just to kind of like, check out the scene.
Because that was like the
whatever.
closest that you, or would Chicago probably be closer? I have no idea geography wise. Like,
it's about the same distance.
Same,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, they're about, I guess, in the same general vicinity.
Yeah.
As far as like the country or whatever.
yeah.
I'm not sure what it was. Honestly, we just, over the years, we began to become a little bit estranged in like certain departments. I think some of it might have been me.
Okay.
Trying to kind of preserve like what I was building, and you can't choose your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You don't. I don't feel like you need to feel obligated to love someone because you share the same blood.
That's fair. Yeah.
Or maybe that's not exactly what I'm trying to say.
No, I get it.
Sometimes you have to learn from a distance.
Right.
Learn to love from a distance.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand that.
And that was the case with me, was that things just were not changing, and my sister was, kind of growing and evolving into her grown-up adult self, and my mother was just becoming a bit more like, stuck in her ways and things like that, and that just was not congruent with, what was going on in my life. So, I moved back when I found out the news about my mom and my sister. I
Yeah.
had plans to anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that was kind of the last of my moving. I've been here since 2018.
Okay.
Been back since 18.
So that's 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
About 5 years.
Yeah. And are you, I guess, happy with that decision?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many things that have happened in my life since I came back that I don't think would have happened if I would have never have left.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the traveling and the life experiences that happened as a result of me, going out and sowing my oats,
Right.
really like cultivated and helped mold and just round me, like polish me. I was was not the same person. I really wasn't. I was like chasing some unrealistic dreams. I was very self-centered as far as like the decisions that I was making in my life, and I, for I guess lack of a better way of explaining, was really lacking in the conscience department. I was just doing and not like thinking about like not only the repercussions to my own life, but how it was like affecting
other people.
the people that cared about me.
So, what are these unrealistic dreams that you were trying to chase? If you're comfortable sharing.
I was I think where I came from, it was kind of drilled in me that there was only a few ways out, you know what I mean? Like you were either catching a scholarship or something like that, or you were becoming some, like big time dope boy or something like that, or you were, I don't know, you're hitting a lick somehow, you're coming up on some money. I think that the people that I was around before I left California were very influential in my life. Like to the point where I felt like I had to like meet this unspoken of like census. You know what I mean? Like I there was like some standards that I had to meet to be around these people or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I was saying, it definitely encompassed a lifestyle that was involved with making quick money and fast money and kind of pretending to be like emotionless about the whole journey. You know what I mean? Like everybody's just tucking everything and burying it deep and not talking about it,
Not good, people.
Yeah, no.
It's not good to
Not
tuck
at
it
all.
deep down, those emotions.
Yeah,
They're
no.
gonna come out in
No.
a bad way at some point.
Absolutely.
So you're saying you feel like they kind of influenced you for the worse?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it's pardon the expression. Hopefully, there's not somebody that gets offended by this later on, but I feel like it's that whole crabs in a barrel like parody is real. I mean, for sure. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I think that sometimes you surround yourself with people that I'm naturally a healer, but that there's like this very fine line between healer and enabler. And I hadn't recognized that back then, or even how to kind of like traverse somewhere in the middle, or figure out how to get to one side completely. And I was just around a bunch of people that I grew up with, and I had taught myself that these are family, and like you don't turn your back on family, or you don't leave them stranded, or you don't make like any of these like real life decisions without like consulting with them or seeing if they want to come along or something like that. And I was just like self-sabotaging for a long time. And I mean that's basically like the sum of it, I guess.
Okay. And so when do you feel like you stopped self-sabotaging? Are we still self-sabotaging?
I mean, no, definitely not.
Kidding.
But I mean, I think it took a lot longer than maybe some. But maybe I just had more lessons to learn or something. I don't know. It took a long time. I'd say probably up until like 30 or like early 30s. You know what I
And
mean?
where were you living at that point?
Well, I was in California still.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I had to think about it. And I think it progressively got better. I don't think that it was just like some cold turkey, like, very pronounced change in my life or anything. I think it was very gradual.
Little baby steps.
For sure. It was something that I had to look back on and kind of gauge the distance that I had gone. But, yeah, it's, I mean, I don't know. There were times that I kind of lived in regret and was like, man, I wish I would have changed sooner. I could have found my partner sooner, potentially, or I could have accomplish these things in my life sooner.
Yeah.
And then I'm reminded by people like my partner or my family or, really close friends that sometimes you have to experience loss or tragedy or destruction or whatever to really understand how important, certain aspects or elements or certain people are in your life. And appreciate them, really value them and like, like those are the things that like now fuel me to go nowhere near that way of thinking or that way of behaving or whatever,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was later in life. I'd say about like 30, early 30s.
That just made me think. Oh yeah. This is so silly to say. I was just saying everything happens for a reason, right? That's what I always believe. I don't necessarily still believe in the religion that I grew up in.
For sure. Yeah.
But I believe in that things happen for a reason.
Absolutely.
People meet each other for a reason. You're at this place in your life for a reason. So totally. So during all of that time, from California to St. Louis to Chicago, etc., right? Are you producing music at this point already? So when did that start? When did Nate Nice with It start?
So I started off as the artist originally. And I think my first show, let's not say show. The first time I ever got on stage, I was young. I was probably like 12, 13, 14.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
We used to do like the teen clubs and stuff like that. Like, I'm so glad the world got over these things because I can't imagine like a world where we still have them and 14-year-olds are going to clubs and getting admission
at like midnight.
And, like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's 90s, man.
Wow.
But I think the first time that I ever remember like being on stage with a microphone was probably like 12 might be young, maybe like 13, 14.
And what kind of music did you do?
I would say that I started off more hip hop based, definitely like lyrical side. I don't think that remained being like the popular or trending genre / subgenre, you know what I mean? Because since then now we've got rap and trap and Jersey club and all these things. But I was way more inclined to conscious rap and people who like had substance to their lyrics and things like that. So ergo my art was reflecting that, that I was soaking up or whatever.
So to interrupt you for a second, who is one of your favorite like lyricist artists, at least at that time versus now? I don't know if it's changed.
I was like really big on like the Mos Defs, Talib Kweli's, the Commons, Raphael Sadiq. I liked Joe Budden a lot. Just because he wasn't as big of a name as these other people that I have been following for years. And I was, like, fortunate enough to, like, get into a lot of his mixtape work, which is completely different than anything that you hear on the radio.
Yeah.
Super talented dude. But, yeah.
Yeah, so we were saying you performed for the first time. You were artist first.
Right.
And so, I guess, what were you saying? Like, how did you make the decision to leave being an artist and then get into producing?
Originally, my stage name. All right.
You don't have to expose your old stage name.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, because
no.
he gets like,
hilarious.
I don't want to talk about my stage name before.
It's so funny because people who meet me naturally assumed that my name is Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many people have that as a nickname? You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Unless
yeah.
it's like maybe a middle name or a first name or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, I had watched this old movie. I think it's called Kazam.
Okay.
With Shaq in it, and he's like
Oh.
a genie.
Okay.
It's like a 90s
It's
movie.
literally like
Okay.
Aladdin, but with
Basically,
Shaq.
yeah.
Okay.
So I watched this movie. I saw this kid. He had like bleach blonde hair, and mind you, this is pre Eminem, pre Cisco. Like it wasn't like a popular theme or look or whatever. So I saw him with the blonde hair, and I was like, man, that would be so cool. Plus, you know, I'm a little badass kid. Like, you know, like nobody's gonna stop me from doing what I want to do. You know. Anyways, I started dyeing my hair, like bleaching my hair, and I was hanging out with a bunch of people that were, you know, rapping all the time. They were writing or they were doing like a bunch of freestyling and stuff, like at kickbacks or at these little teen clubs that we would go to or whatever. They'd have like kind of like open mic situations. And people would constantly, okay, so then fast forward a little bit, maybe like a year or so. Eminem makes it big. He is known as like this blonde-haired white dude that raps, and like honestly, any white dude that comes out and like has any type of like real flow or like I don't know, it's just I guess captivating gets compared already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would get off stage and people would come over and they'd be like, oh man, bro's hard like Eminem, you know, blah blah blah. He goes hard as hell, da 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 da. And all my friends would jump in and they'd be like, oh nah, bro's like, you know, like there's been different points when I've lived in the South longer. I think I've kind of adopted a little bit more like the Southern kind of twang or whatever. Or when I came from LA, like I was, my accent and my lingo was terrible. Like I had to like explain all these things to like different people. But anyways, people would compare me to Eminem a lot, and my friends would jump in and they'd be like, nah, he's nothing like him. He sounds nothing like him. He's super turned up. He's like turned up like the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And I think they made the reference because of like the white blonde hair. So my very first stage name was Nature Boy.
Oh.
And
I feel like that would be a good one for you.
Yeah.
he loves the nature.
I kind of grew out of it, honestly. Initially I was like spelling it all like hood rich, you know what I'm saying? And then when I would get on stage, people would have trouble reading it, and I've been called Nacho Boy.
Man.
Like everything that you can imagine. Like
I mean, it would probably be a viral thing now, maybe,
but like
maybe.
No, back then it was terrible.
Not good,
it was terrible.
Not good. Okay.
But yeah, so I kind of grew out of it, and I started getting older, and I was like, I ain't no boy no more. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call myself Nature. And I started doing my research, and there's so many. I think Pastor Troy had an artist that he was working with. Nas had an artist that he was working with. Obviously, Naughty by Nature or whatever. And I was just like, I got to figure out where I'm going to go with this. And I was like, you know what? Second Nature. Because performing, entertaining, being like master of ceremony, stuff like that, I felt, and you know, the people who like got to witness me, you know, entertaining or whatever, felt like it was like second nature. It was just something that came naturally. I don't know, I wasn't feeling it because we were going to this transition where hip hop and conscious rap didn't have a place anymore on the radio. All of that started dying. Roscoe Dash, who else was popular back then? Travis Porter, all these like turn up artists and stuff like that. Like
Everybody from here.
Basically had started becoming popular, and it was like there was this huge gap. It was like you're either a turn up artist and you're in the club constantly trying to promote yourself, buying bottles and all this like ridiculousness, or you're a Jeezy and a Gucci and a T.I. and you're on some trap stuff, and you have to like live this life to, you know, I guess gain the respect from your fans and stuff like that, you know, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the type of music that I was interested in making just didn't really have a place anymore. We didn't have the Logics. We didn't have the... Crit was there, but like he was just so underground, and
Crit's
people.
one of my favorite artists.
I agree. I don't know why I didn't mention him before. Like,
That's okay.
But when
You're
I was
mentioning
young,
him
it
now.
was more hip hop
Right.
artists. But like, people like Crit later on in life were just, it's made such profound impacts in my life and as far as creativity. But anyways, I didn't want to go the second nature route because it seemed too backpacky, and I figured it was going to be an uphill battle trying to market myself as like this hip hop artist in the absence of hip hop being like a popular genre. So I was like, in lieu of, I'm going to just call myself Nature for the time being and see how that goes. I'll make this as short of a story as I can.
It's okay.
I was going to this local bar that was not known for any live performances or anything like that. They had like karaoke nights and stuff like that. But I would kind of go up there and finesse, and I'd get them to throw on like a karaoke beat or something, and I'd just freestyle over it. Or like rap some stuff that I'd written. And they were okay with it at first. And then I think that they were worried that it was going to like start attracting like the wrong crowd or something like that. It's just one of those bars. And so one night there was a manager up there, an artist manager, and he said he was around the corner, and he said he was listening to the radio, and he was kind of like, vibing with it, whatever. He said then he realized that the radio was getting out of breath at certain points, and he was like, holy shit, is this like someone performing live? So he went around the corner, and he realized it was me, and I think that when people see me, they, for lack of a better, I guess, analysis, they assume that like I'm Caucasian or like white identifying or something like that. And he was like, damn, this white kid's up there like going off right now, and like I thought it was the radio. So fast forward, his name, we'll leave his name out of it.
Yeah, leave his name out so Nate doesn't have to cut it.
No, for sure. So he had quite a few connections. Through him, I met Dallas Austin. I met Divine Stevens. I feel like those names are okay. Those are like really big, like...
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're saying...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I met Dallas. I met Divine Stevens. I met Abu. I met Boo, Akon's cousin.
Cool.
He was trying, I guess, to figure out where the right fit for me would be. And I was still trying to have my lyrics match up with my lifestyle. And long story short, I think that I became more of a liability than an asset. And we inevitably eventually ended up partying and going separate ways. But I will say that after we split, this group that he had also been managing and like was literally living in his house ended up, I don't remember who they signed with, but they were on tour with New Boys. You're a Jerk.
I know the song.
Yeah, so was on tour
So
with them,
that's cool.
doing their thing.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of a rough patch too. I don't think they're still signed or anything like that. But he did. I'm glad to see that this manager got an opportunity to manage some artists that had got major distribution and like signed to a deal and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was. From there, I started doing a lot of like independent. I was just recording myself, mixing myself. We didn't have any video guys. We didn't have any promoters. We didn't have any real booking agencies aside from the stuff that, I don't want to say the name, but I'm sure if you're an artist and you've ever tried to find a booking agency, you've probably booked with this company before. And yeah, I didn't. It was way too much of an uphill battle, and I felt kind of like I was being held back. I felt constricted, constrained,
Caged.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the music that I wanted to make was just not what was popular right then, and I didn't want to make something that was falling on a deaf ear.
Right. Just cause.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I think I was still. A slave to the census, Consensus?
Consensus? Sure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always mix those two words. Consensus.
But census is like a thing where everybody has to like, vote in, like a community thing.
Though.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Consensus.
Yeah. But
we're
like,
smart.
Yeah, I felt like I was just like I had to make like what people wanted to hear in order for me to make what I wanted to make.
Yeah, I feel like that's so common, like where people, I mean, at least I feel like I hear stories all the time of, well, the label wants me to make this, but that's not what I want to make. Right. So, yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays, if you post something online and it goes viral and it's not the like type of music that you normally make, you feel like obligated to make that
right. Just because, it made me viral once, but...
Become this one-trick pony or whatever.
Yeah.
That's your flow now. Mm-hmm. That's the type of beat that you get on now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of, influence that makes us want to do things that will just help us get farther faster, but it's not necessarily what we originally wanted to do. So you're saying that you split with him and we're doing some independent stuff, and at this point you're still calling yourself Nature.
I don't even have a name for myself at this point. I'm just like making a bunch of music and
how are you putting it out at that point? Like, so
back then,
because it wasn't Spotify then.
No Spotify. I don't even know if things like DistroKid and United Masters or things like that were even like in existence.
Yeah,
they definitely weren't popular back then. So there wasn't like
Dat Piff.
Probably exactly my mixtapes and Dat Piff. Like wow.
Guys, I have no idea what you're talking about.
We're talking like ancient history
old
now.
School stuff.
I was in like middle school.
Really? You have this like effortless way of like making me feel like your grandpa.
Stop
you know what I mean? Like I appreciate it. Like,
I lived in the same era of rap. Like at the same. I was
for
still
sure.
A fan, just like you, like on the same shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're terrible.
No, it's a window. It's an age window.
This was back in the day of like badgering people at gas stations with your CDs.
No. I remember going to New York City and that happening every time my family went on like a Saturday day trip to New York City, shoving stuff in our face.
And the worst part is like back then, like people weren't just giving them; they were actually selling them. You know what I mean?
Because
like,
that's the way to do it.
I know for sure. Yeah, but I do not miss those days of like going to that one friend's house who has this like tower set up with like 10 different like DVD or like CD writers. Like bootlegging was crazy back then too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man.
LimeWire.
Yep,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
I remember I got this little like a CD etcher or something, and like you could make your own labels and it would like etch it into the CD. Yeah. I was like, all I need to do is just save up money and get like 50 more of these so I can like start mass produce it. It's insane. But so I started recording myself. Still hadn't really figured out what my stage name moving forward was going to be. Started kind of building this little camp around me of like other artists. Also, we're all artists. No one's producing. No one's shooting video. No one's studying the business side of the industry.
Marketing.
And like, so we're just a bunch of guys that have an idea and don't know exactly what trigger to pull and when to do it. How did I get to the next name?
Minutes?
Killing it.
Are you kidding?
Killing it.
Okay. Wow, that time flies. Holy shit.
Talking about producing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now?
Yeah, you were getting into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you just a videographer as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Are you back on? Oh, sorry, everyone. Okay. We're back.
I don't remember who. I remember what it was. I remember.
There we go. There we go.
So
light bulb.
I was still Nature. I was still going to these little bars and stuff that had karaoke nights or open mics, and I was still performing. And when I would get off stage, I think a lot of it had to do with me looking the way I looked. People didn't expect to be captivated or to be as entertained as they were.
Yeah.
And they would immediately come up and be like, "Oh man, my brother used to babysit big boy from Outkast, cousins, friends, dog, and I got a plug, you know what I'm saying? Or like another guy walks up and he's like, yeah, I'm from Two Left Shoe Productions, and this is my homeboy from Bubblegum fucking Promotions or something like that. But anyways, they'd all ask me my name, and I think I developed like as far as like into my like dad bod like in like later in life because I was a little itty bitty dude, and I'd get off stage and I'd be so pumped with adrenaline from doing like because this is like open mic and I'd get a beat and like I'd throw like 4 or 5 different songs together and like no chorus, no nothing, just bars, you know. But anyways, I'd be so jacked on adrenaline and they'd ask me my name and I remember this one night this guy asked my name. And I said, Nature. Mind you, I got off stage. The DJ now has the music playing, waiting for the next
artist
or whatever. You know what I mean? And the guy asked me my name, and I said, Nature. And he goes, Nathan? And I was like, Nature. And he goes, Nathan. And I was like, Nature, dog. And he goes, I'm going to just call you Nate. And I was like, all right, bet. So is the rest of the world. So funny. Yeah, Nate came from Nature. And then not too long from there, just like some of the trade work that I was doing had me traveling a lot. And it really kind of ignited like my adventurous spirit. And I was that guy. Like if we were out on a Friday night and... we're all single, we don't have work the next day or anything like that, and someone was just like, man, I know this girl up in South Carolina, or I know this such and such popping off over in Auburn, Alabama, or Florida or something like that. I would literally stop what I was doing, go gas up, and we're on the way. So, Interstate Nate kind of evolved from that.
Nate.
It seemed really marketable, and then I did realize that it was kind of like that double entendre. People were connecting with it and taking it like a different direction. They're like, "Oh, he must be like a dope boy,
how
like
ironic,
moving state
a
to state
direction, interstate."
Yeah, no,
so funny.
But
sorry.
Yeah, no, it I think it served well as being like this. Maybe not double entendre, but like dual purpose.
In your name?
Not at all.
No.
Wow.
Not at all.
I thought it was your middle name.
Not at all.
See, like Charles is my middle name.
Yeah.
I go by,
No.
Everybody calls me Charles except for my parents and her.
There are people
And
that have
sister.
known me since kindergarten. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. We weren't like best of friends,
Right,
like
but
the
knew
entire
each other.
time. But know me since kindergarten. Know my first name. Know my last name. Don't necessarily know my middle name, but like call me Nate to this day. My Facebook has my like first and last government name. They still call me Nate. So
That's
I think it
wild.
may have started off as like a respect thing, you know what I mean? And then they probably just started assuming naturally that like it was part of my name and it wasn't a nickname or something. But yeah, no.
That's crazy.
So Interstate Nate, then how do we get to
Nate Nice with it.
Nate Nice with it?
So Interstate Nate was my actual artist alias. I don't know. I think I got tired of feeling like the camp that I had kind of like built around me. I don't want to say I built, but this camp that we had all built together, I think was starting to kind of view me as this like Justin of the group. And I wasn't cool with that. I wanted us to all have our strong suits, you know what I mean? Like
Everyone brings something.
right,
to the table.
exactly.
Yeah.
To have this like well-oiled engine and for us to get to where we're trying to go. And nobody wanted to learn anything that we needed to learn. Nobody wanted to learn how to engineer or how to mix and master. Nobody wanted to invest in a camera and then learn how to shoot and then edit and color grade and things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely a firm believer in that most of the time, in most circumstances, you are not going to get what you want accomplished as fast as you want, or when you want, or the way you want, unless you do it yourself. Or at least you initiate it yourself, you know what I mean? And then kind of explain
Start to
your
research a little bit.
your formula or whatever. But yeah, no one was making that leap. So I stepped away from I felt like honestly I had perfected my formula for songwriting, and it was just getting to, plus, like we were talking about, it wasn't, rap music and rap and hip hop were just not really in the best place. So the music that was like really getting a lot of attention was too easy. It was just real basic lyrics, metaphors that were just ridiculous about how big your gun was or how many bodies you got and all this craziness or whatever. So I decided to take a break from it and hop the fence and get on production. My first slew of beats were terrible. I think
that's the only way to learn. Gotta mess around.
He's actually heard some of them. He was like, what does 2008 Nate sound like?
Oh yeah, this man has a hard drive with like files from like 08. Crazy.
2008. You
crazy.
2000 and late.
Yeah.
I think the 2011 one's on here somewhere. So.
Yeah.
But just the worst. The worst.
We're not gonna expose that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's how we all start.
That's what I'm saying. You all have to start bad. I literally remember writing a song when I was sitting in my one like gym class in college, the one where you had to like sit through a health presentation, not like the actual running around the gym. We were sitting at a desk, and it was horrible. I never wrote a song again because I'm not an artist, but I sat there because I was like, I'm bored. I'm not going to pay attention to this. It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks when you're starting something new. You don't know how to do it.
For sure. I love looking at the distance that you've traveled, though. I love being able to
progress.
Like, absolutely.
Yes.
Compare and just be like, bro, I should drop this album. I should put all these like trash ass beats on an album and just drop it and just to be like,
see what happens.
Yeah, like any of you that don't like my production now, trust me, it could have been a lot worse. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so Interstate Nate for the longest. I again went through this like transformation as far as maturity is concerned that made me start realizing like the connotations that this whole Interstate Nate was having around it. And I didn't want people thinking that I was like, I wanted to be able to have a career that had longevity, in it. And I didn't think that attaching myself to a name that was insinuating, whether lightly or heavily, that I was like some drug trafficker or something like that. You know what I mean? Or like living this life that like
a runner.
Yeah, like labels
Goer.
you know what I'm saying? So
truck stop type name.
Yeah, no, really. I saw this photographer and he had the same first name as me, and his name was Alexander SPECIAL, and I was like,
sick with it.
Okay. And I saw him take off. I saw him like a lot of people in Atlanta were like booking him. His shots were like really cool. They were like edgy and like, kind of like dark, some of them or whatever, like the tones of them. And I was like, man, what a succinct way of describing yourself, but also introducing yourself with an alias. Like he was just like, this is me.
Right.
I'm sick with it. And I was like, okay, cool. And, that's where Nate Nice with It kind of evolved from. I was like, I salute, you know what I mean? You see me doing it now.
You are, you're giving him
No,
creds.
for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I think everybody deserves their flowers at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But, so switched over to production. That was less of a headache as far as dealing with booking agencies, as far as taking these $100, $200 gigs and stuff like that, or like bar cash. Never will I ever, you know what I mean? Not again, at least. But it was just an uphill battle. And when I made the switch, what I appreciated about it the most was that, one, it took the weight of feeling like I had to have my ego on like max, and I could now become like this very humble,
chill
behind the
dude.
scenes. I'm not here in the limelight. I'm not starved for attention or anything like that. And I can continue along the path of being creative, and connecting with other creatives to make art. And I think we talked about this the last time we hung out. Is that it's difficult dealing with certain ego artists. I don't want to say rappers because there's ego in all different genres
divas
or whatever.
Too.
Right, for sure. Yeah. It's difficult being someone. Let's talk rap. It was difficult being a rapper that felt like he had to be this like egomaniac, meeting with other rappers who also are going through something similar, if not the same thing, feeling like they have to be these ego monsters, and you guys meet and it's like, yeah, you know what, I got metaphors and analogies and you know whatever bars for days, and it's like this guy's like, yeah, me too, and then it's like,
you're all trying to one up each other.
Okay, but what's next?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, neither one of us is producing.
It's crazy how that was the metric back then.
I know.
Because now it's like, yo, look at my motherfucking Instagram, dog. I got 400K on
Instagram. Yeah. Now it's with social media.
Yeah, I think it's.
I'm more of
it's like just moved digital.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like I became more of like this is how many songs I have out. This is my catalog.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't know how you feel about that, but like, you have a catalog of beats.
That's where I was with songs too. Is like I had built up this crazy catalog. Granted, my mix back then and my beat selection was very limited. I didn't want to have to keep going to like SoundClick was huge back then or whatever. But I didn't want to keep having to go like rap over type beats or like industry beats or anything like that. And I wasn't, just for one reason or another, I hadn't connected with a producer that was willing to do like in-house stuff for us, you know, like para gratis, like for free, you know? So, I made the switch. I started making beats, and made it easier for me to work with other creatives, and it at least took 50% of the ego out of the situation, you know? Yeah. And it allowed me to kind of like pick and choose too, you know, like who I wanted to work with based upon their energy and how our energies mixed. Yeah.
You could be more picky.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was honestly the best decision that I made because as I got older, I started becoming the polar opposite. When I was younger, I was like this super extrovert. I had to like be in the right place at the right time, whether it was, you know, 5 o'clock in the evening or 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Because I was so dedicated in chasing this dream. I remember my mom even telling me that when I was a kid, she used to have to, like, when she would have me on her shoulder, like, just, you know, carrying me around, she'd have to take, like, the little baby blanket and, like, put it over my head because I kept, like, pulling my head up and, like, wanting to, like, I was going to miss something. Like, I always felt like I was
going to... FOMO.
Basically. But, as I got older, I literally made this 180 switch, and I'm very, very much more into, like, concentrated interactions now. I'm very picky about who I'm sharing time and space and energy with, and basically that transition had started at that point. And
when you say my circle's so small, it's a period.
It's a period, bro. It's a freaking dot.
Amazing.
But, yeah.
Well, so thank you for being here today, spending your time with us.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that.
Nah, thank you for having me, for sure.
Yeah. So you decided to go into producing instead of staying as an artist.
Correct.
Is the summary.
Yeah.
I love it. And also moving here after going from place to place to place.
Yeah.
And realizing that this is where I guess you feel like you were meant to be in Georgia.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, for sure. I think I met who I was meant to meet here in Georgia. Whether we end up staying here, you know, eternally.
Yeah, we don't know that either yet. If we're staying here too.
Every day's a new day, you know?
Yeah. So, awesome. I am going to now ask you our fun 5 questions. Stay or go.
Let's get it.
Kind of rapid fire. Not really. You can go into it and not just say stay or go and then we move on to the next one. They're kind of meant to like I said, Nate wrote these for you because he knows you better than I do.
Perfect.
But we worked on them together. So, stay or go, vapes.
Stay or go in my life or in the world?
Let's do both.
Shit. In my life, they need to go.
Show the camera. Show the camera what you got.
They need to go. They need to go.
And in the world?
World, I think it's better than actual
cigarette
than
smoking.
Yes. Just as far as courtesy to others, because I will say that I don't really like I'm not like moved one way or another to see people vaping wherever, like in public or in privacy or anything like that. But man, if someone even approaches me and they smell like an ashtray, and to be honest, like I've actually gotten to a point now that I don't smoke like flower anymore. If people approach me and they smell like a roach, like a dirty like blunt roach or something like that, it just rings this bell in my head of like unprofessional or like doesn't care about how they present themselves to someone or something like that. Someone we
don't need to spend our time with.
No, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I the world, I don't know if I'm really even qualified to make that type of, you know what I mean?
So but for you,
for
you
sure,
feel like they need to go.
Yeah. I think that they're not like really benefiting me or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Again, this is not to offend you. He just did that as a silly thing.
For sure.
Another silly one. Waking up before 6 a.m.
Stay. What do you mean?
Me and him are like,
these
no,
were like
go,
perfectly
go.
catered to me. Like, so tonight is
daylight savings. Yes, we're very excited.
And I will be waking up at 4:00 tomorrow because that's what my body does. Like
instead of 5 a.m.
Exactly.
So you wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, 5
every day.
Every day.
And why? Because that is like foreign to me.
Because I didn't for like my whole life. I was like, not like on a polar opposite schedule or anything, but I just school was about the only time I was waking up that early. And then I just started realizing like this whole new world that only goes on.
Sorry. I love Ariel.
Signs. But I just that, and I'm older now. There's nothing, personally speaking, there's nothing good for me outside after dark. There isn't. I mean, no, at all. Like if I'm outside after dark, I'm like walking the dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or no, that's it.
Now you don't have to answer, but do you? I feel like we're talking about age a lot, but I have no idea what your age is because you don't look what I believe your age is.
I don't think anybody. Me. I had to start growing my facial hair out like a couple years ago just to stop getting carded or get treated like, you know what I mean, like the seasoned veteran that I've become. No,
but you don't have to share if you don't want to.
I just turned 39. Yeah,
oh, okay.
September 11th.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's an unfortunate birthday.
I've been apologized to for bro, for 20 straight years. Yeah. Anytime I ever needed to show my ID, I've gotten apologized to.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I just did it.
No, it's good. But that's what they do. They're like, okay, 9/11. Oh, I'm so sorry. And it's like,
but it wasn't like the day that it actually happened.
Of course not. And it's like,
my sister was actually supposed to be born.
Yeah, her due date.
That's why her like middle name's Liberty.
I didn't even know that.
That was her due date.
Wow.
The actual.
Yeah, the actual 2001.
But
wow.
She ended up coming a little bit later.
Yeah, she's the 17th.
That's
anyway.
Dope. That's dope.
Oh, 18th. Sorry, Deanna. Okay. So, anyway.
That's when you would text her, though.
What?
The 17th.
Oh.
You'd be thinking everything.
I always, because I'm a planner. So I get like waking up early. I get waking up early and like having a plan for your day. But I don't like to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to sleep till 7:30, 7:30, 8. That's for me.
Pre-6 a.m.
No. It's too dark.
Really?
I like between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not operating until so I wake up at 5. My girl wakes up about the same. Her alarm goes off. I think she's up and moving about 15 minutes later.
Okay.
She's out the door usually around 6:30, 6:45. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's basically like when my day starts. I'm such a basic bro.
Basic bro.
Yeah, I had to choose that one carefully.
That's okay.
I usually just like hit Chick-fil-A or something like that and get my usual, and then Breakfast usually lasts maybe like 30 minutes or so, and then I'm starting my day officially by like, I guess 7:30 or something like that. So
when I'm waking up.
I'm up for a while. It's not like I get up and I'm
right.
like,
You're out the door, ready
sliding down a brontosaurus to go to
He
bedrock.
does. He gets up, makes his coffee, gets out. Yep.
I think that changed a lot for me too. Once I took caffeine and the cousins, like the taurine and stuff like that, out of my diet, it really like helped me with the transition, because I was like finding that I needed these things to like propel me like throughout the day, and like you know, keep me alert or whatever. And once I extracted these certain things out of my diet, this waking up at 5 and going through the motions of my day became a lot less strenuous, or to stop taking such a toll on like my energy and things like that.
Yeah, you don't need it. I've never had coffee in my whole life.
Really?
Yeah. I don't drink any
I didn't
caffeine.
Have coffee until post-college.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So like when it doesn't make sense.
But I mean, yeah.
It was nobody's business.
I was the same too, though. Like I didn't really get into coffee or like stimulants. Like this vape stuff is like about 2 years old now. Like, I mean, I've only been like doing it for about 2 years. Coffee and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I was well into my 20s, like before I even got into it.
Yeah. It's
I'm
dangerous.
such a lightweight. Like anything, like 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. Dude, screw that. Like I have to break
You guys are so similar.
Yeah, a Tylenol extra strength. I have to break it in half. Like, or else
you're out.
that's it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we know you ride a scooter, motorcycle. What do you call it? What do you call it? Motorcycle, bike.
It's gone.
What do you call it?
It was a motorcycle.
Okay,
it was a small one. But no, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Yeah. Well,
so the answer's go, because I was gonna ask you about like the bird scooters that people use in like Metro Atlanta downtown.
If it was up to my partner, she would definitely 100% say go. She would say it shouldn't have been there in the first place. I did not purchase it until she was out of town. Because I knew how she felt about it, and I was like, you know what? Worst case scenario, they're gonna be gone for a week. I'll get like this out of my system, and I'll just go sell it. You know what I mean? Plus, I'm like this. I'm a bad man on that Facebook marketplace.
Oh Jesus! Sorry.
I'm very talented at finding things that are already cheap, talking someone down to almost free, and then at some point reselling for well more than you know what I paid for it. Yeah. But yeah, I ended up getting it for like, I think I paid $1,800 for it, and then I resold about a month and a half later for $29.50.
Nice.
Oh, killed it. But she was she was very uneasy about it like the entire time I had it. The first I had it for about 3 or 4 days, and then she saw me on the Ring camera and was like,
caught.
Let's FaceTime. And I was like, sure. Let me just
pull
park.
Over.
Yeah. And she was upset. We worked through it. I don't know. I started taking her reactions and her energy towards it into consideration a lot more, and I was just like, she cares about me. She cares about my safety.
It's not like she doesn't want you to have fun.
Has nothing to do with like, because initially I was just like, I'm a man and this is my money, and I know how to spend my money, and ain't nobody about to tell me. Blah, blah. And then I saw the flip side of the coin within about 20 minutes of having a conversation with my mom. She was like, she loves you like I love you. And I was like,
doesn't want anything to happen.
Damn, bro. You know what I mean? Like, how often do you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, find that partner that like really loves you like unconditionally, like a mother does. You know what I mean? But my mom gave that perspective to me, and
shout out moms.
No, for sure. Yeah,
shout out
big
moms.
shout. But
hot moms.
Hot moms too.
Shout out hot moms and the regular moms.
But and my girl's a fur mom, so you know.
And fur baby moms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Fur moms, plant moms. You know what I'm saying?
All the moms, they deserve creds.
But I would say stay or go a motorcycle.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it had to go for you.
For me,
yeah,
go. Just because
safety
I want to be
concerns.
I want to be a dad, and I want to be
You want to be a hot
husband.
dad.
You know what I'm saying? For real though, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I do want to be around for the future, and I don't think I really. I don't think anybody does. I don't think you realize how careless a lot of the drivers are nowadays. How involved in like
especially here
in Georgia,
it's crazy.
It's insane.
I remember being at lights and looking around at people, who are just, I'm at a red light. I'm looking at the people parked around me.
Texting.
People are double fisting their phone, and it looks like they're driving with their knee. And I've actually like stopped to make comments to people like, yo, put your phone down. You know what I'm saying? Not just because I'm literally in front of you and like you're putting me at risk, but because now that I own a motorcycle and I'm riding every day, I see how many there are, and I see how many people are in their phones. So, and I will say this: the community for I guess bikers, I don't know what the correct terminology is super tight knit. When you see people, my buddy, I remember when I first got the bike, he was like, "No, you can do this thing now. You can do this now whenever you're on the bike." And I was like, "What is that?" And he was like, "Oh, you'll see." And I started noticing it. And it's the hand motion is really just like people put their hand down or two fingers down, and it's really just saying 2 wheels on the ground. Don't be out here hot dogging it or nothing like that. And also, it's like
they hate Philly. They would hate Philly.
Oh, I'm sure. I've seen plenty of Meek Mill videos.
This is
and
insane how many times we've talked about Philly and hating Philly in episodes. I've talked about this in like 3 of our episodes so far.
I didn't realize how much Philly was gonna not in certain areas when you get to the row houses and stuff like that. How much it was gonna look like fucking like a Meek Mill video or like Belly or like just you know what I mean, like your atypical stuff. Like this shit is like is exactly what it looks like in these videos. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
but
fun.
Yeah,
because they're always on dirt bikes.
Oh yeah,
wheelies.
For real.
Oh yeah.
I think that they kind of cornered that market of that like culture or whatever. Like other people have now started like riding 4-wheelers and stuff like in the cities, whatever. But I feel like Philly kind of branded that. You know what I mean?
I definitely have seen it because I'm out in the streets all the time. I definitely have seen it a lot in Norcross and Chamblee area. People on.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. I say for me, go. For other people, if you're safe.
Wear a helmet
right.
for crying out loud.
Absolutely. First and foremost.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, bro, I think I was getting like 170 miles per tank, 2 gallons. What car are you getting that in?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But then again, like, you're riding with
air hitting you at all.
No
wind.
doors, no
Right.
roof, no airbags, nothing like that.
Heat.
So
air conditioning.
that too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that I got rid of it before winter hit.
Yes.
Because I think I would got it like in the prime area of like riding season or whatever. Yeah, no, I don't want to deal with that wind chill.
Yeah, no one does. So 2 more.
Okay.
We're going to talk about TikToks. There you go.
For me,
For you.
I don't really. I made a page a while ago, maybe like a year or 2 ago or something like that. It's not a platform that I have really seen like an influx in as far as like followers or people sharing my work. Maybe they have. Maybe I'm viral and I have no idea. But like,
not on it enough.
that and like I've only had it on my phone like maybe 3 or 4 times. Like I made the profile, loaded it up with a bunch of stuff, was on it for a little while, deleted it, downloaded it again to view some stuff that somebody was telling me about.
Right.
Checked my profile and was like, okay, cool. Nothing remarkable has happened or anything like that. And then I think I just re-download. I think I have it on my phone. But yeah, I just not something that has worked the best for me. So I'd say go for me, but for other people, no. I see people that have made livings,
careers.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
off of, and sometimes it's
posting
TikTok
videos.
over, Instagram or one over the other or whatever. But hell, if it's working for you to get where you're trying to go, you know what I mean? And you're going to be, the most important thing is if you're going to be happy, like really at your core happy with the results that you receive from TikTok, whatever, in the end, go for it, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally feel that.
Yeah.
I hate having to make content. I'm new to this now for this podcast.
It's a full-time job.
It's
yeah.
I get a taste of what it's like, and I don't love it.
Yeah, no.
Last one, really random, but he told me something. So, wiffle ball.
Stay or go? Fucking stay, bro. What do you mean?
So are you joining our team next season?
I'm down.
Okay, cool.
So it took me a while to get to the point because, like, I don't know if I was going through, like, midlife or something like that, but I was like, fuck, man, this is... Now I gotta, like, find a softball team and, like...
That's what I did when we moved here. I was like, what do I do with myself?
You know what I mean? Or, like, have a Wednesday, like, men's group or something like that or whatever. Nah, but yeah, I think that I've definitely, as of late, started like reconnecting with my inner child, so to speak, and made even more progression away from the consensus. Like, are people gonna like think that this is cool? Are they gonna want to come and do this with me? Yeah. I am such an introverted extrovert at this point in my life. I love going out and adventuring and things like that, but I would much prefer it to either be on my own or in a small group of people that really want to be here doing this with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just, I'm not subscribing to, I'm going to go do this because everybody else is having fun doing it, or I feel like this, like, pressure to do it or something like that. Yeah, I don't have any problem grabbing my camera and going to go make footage that honestly doesn't even make sense at that point. Yeah. I just know that at some point in time I'll be able to take that and incorporate it into whatever. Yeah. Content or visuals for somebody later on or whatever, you know. Yeah. Most of my when I started getting into drone work or whatever.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't even touch that, but touch it now.
Most of my visuals that I do post are like dated. Like, I shot it a while ago, had no idea what I was going to do with it. Didn't even think that I was going to go the route of, like, making reels and incorporating either music that I connected with or my own music with the visuals themselves to kind of, like, cross-promote or whatever. But, yes, it's, like, pretty much the same thing. Nowadays, if I don't have much going on and I don't have any of my creative tribe or community available at that, like, specific moment, I'll hit the silver comment. I'll hit the belt line. Comment. Yeah.
We were going to talk about that, and Nate was like, no, it's too close to home. Don't talk about it.
No.
No one knows where we live. It's fine.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think that...
the belt line's amazing, though, too.
It is. So I've burned it up. I've burnt almost all of the city up. I've just shot so much all over the place. I've gone back to places 3, 4, 5 times just to see if I could find something new or a different perspective or something.
Yeah, I was looking at your Instagram before you came over, so I could like familiarize myself with your work, and there's some really cool shots of the city.
But it's just like everybody's like, okay, cool, Midtown, all right, West Side, all right, East Side, all right, North Side. Okay, where's the rest of the stuff? Yeah. So now, literally, like, everything's in my car. My drone's in my car. I brought the camera in.
Don't tell people that.
I mean,
they're gonna break into your car. We were just talking about that. You said earlier, what do you guys have in your car overnight? Well, not overnight. You don't have your drone in your car.
Well, I also am a homeowner with a garage.
Okay, that's different. We don't have that. We got a driveway.
And also CCL carrier, so... You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Okay. But you're ready to go, is what you're trying to say, until I was like, safety concern.
I had to swallow everything that I wanted to say just then and be like, this is your media training kicking in right now. Like,
we don't have that many followers yet. Maybe we will by the time of this.
But yeah,
yours is going to come out like mid-December, because
cool.
I've already got people lined up for the rest of November, but yeah.
But I try to at least be prepared for... I put a power inverter in my car in case I needed like backup lighting and stuff for shots, or in case I needed to like plug a surge protector into that, and just like multiple charging things that needed to go on at that point. Yeah. But yeah, I just I don't know. I once I switched over to production, my ear changed, and I'm like grabbing samples from commercials and stuff like that and flipping them. Some of the samples that I have flipped, you would never. There's no way you'd ever like point it out and be like, oh, that's whatever song or that's from that commercial or something like that. I think that's what like really kept me pushing with the whole production on the music side. With visuals, same thing. It's like you could go to a location 100 times
and do something different.
Something different. Maybe it's a different lighting that day. Maybe it's there's foliage out and there wasn't before.
Season.
Right. You know what I mean? And or just perspective. It's but yeah, I think that's what fascinated me about the visual side of things. And once I started realizing that the editing programs, the software itself, and the interfaces of them and the plugins and things like that are almost identical to audio production, it was kind of a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Yeah, I could do both. Awesome.
For sure.
So, to wrap it up, do you have anything that you are trying to promote right now? Anything at all? Visuals, beats, anything that you want to be like, hey?
Jewish Lives Matter. No, for real, though. Yeah. For real. I'm just saying. Like, it's our time, bro. Yeah. Like, let us shine. No, what I'm trying to promote.
I guess it's hard. Yeah, it's different than, like, artists, because they'd be like, I have this song, but you do, too. Like, if you worked with someone and they were dropping a song you produced on. Go stream Surges.
Absolutely. Go stream Surges.
If you haven't already. Yes. Shout out.
Yeah, I would just say, like, bro, if you're if you're creative in this world these days, there's so many outlets, there's so many channels, there's so many opportunities that were not there when people like me or even our predecessors did not have available to them. So there's really no reason for you to not do what is really your passion. You know what I mean? Especially if it involves like some type of like innate process, like creating something from nothing.
This podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's yeah, like don't be your own worst enemy. Don't self-sabotage because of the consensus.
The word of the day, consensus.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just now that I'm like
I got it right
certain
now.
I'm using it like correctly.
Yes.
But yeah, no, promote yourself, bro. Like seriously, that's what I want to promote is people that have, I don't know, man, just lost their drive for it or are like this close to giving up because they haven't got the deal or they haven't got the money or they haven't got the recognition or the fame or whatever. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, don't give
going.
up, bro. Yeah,
Keep
for real.
Going.
I don't think I've made it at all. You know, like I think I've come a long way, but I don't think I'm where I would want to be inevitably as far as my accomplishments with my art. You know what I mean? But
the progress is there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if people want to follow you, where can they find you?
So
not
my
OnlyFans
is
I was gonna say
my
some people
Finster.
Some people have shouted out their Venmos. If you want to do that, maybe get a random. No, I'm just kidding.
The same shit.
I'm
not giving my PayPal.
Okay.
No.
What's your Instagram? What's your TikTok?
I would send it back. Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
that's nice
I'm just saying. There's people that need it more than than I do right now.
No, you're very nice. Nate, nice with it. You're very nice.
All my social media is NateNiceWithIt. Same way it's spelled.
Yeah.
Everything from Instagram to YouTube to like all my production and stuff like that. Spotify and all the digital music platforms and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got a beat catalog on Spotify.
Yeah.
Awesome. Check it out,
for
people.
Sure. Absolutely.
Nice night. Oh my God. Night.
Good.
I'm having a stroke. Nate, nice with it. So sorry. Nate, nice with it. All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
For sure. Thank you for
having
having
me.
me.
Podcast.
Absolutely.
Was this your first podcast ever?
First this is way more official than any of the other ones that I've been on.
We're
as far as like
official.
the setup.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Usually it's just like a camera set up on like a really small tripod and like some podcast mics that you probably could have like chipped in a little bit more to like get something.
Yeah, no, this is all his stuff.
No,
I didn't pay for any of this except
this is legit,
one
for
mic
sure.
stand I had to buy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, we just needed an extra.
Startup cost: hard drive, mic stand.
Yep,
Absolutely.
that's what I bought.
She hit me with the yellow lights. You wanna act like I don't know about it, baby, that's alright. Should I stay, should I go? I don't know if you bout it, baby, guess that's life. Said we can never get that right. I'm thinking that you love me, but you don't really want me. Like, should I stay, should I go?